that shit in the past.
YouTube, y'all doing? Hope y'all doing amazing. Like I said, like I always say, we are live. This is being live right now. Chats with us, all with us. We're watching today. Obsession is way darker than you think. Now, this movie, Obsession, was actually a really good movie. I went to go see it in theaters. Actually, a really good movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Obsession, the brand new horror movie. In this video, we will be diving straight into
Barry
its
is the
deeper
guy who
themes
made
and
the chair.
symbolism. There will be spoilers. Let us begin. The premise is so simple, but what emerges from it is one of the deepest descents into darkness that I have ever witnessed on a cinema screen.
A fake
Baron,
candle?
or Bear as he's known, fancies Nikki, and he gets an opportunity to ask her out. His friend Ian is egging him on. Even Nikki herself is nudging him to ask the question.
Nikki, wait, I was gonna ask you,
What?
I lost my train of thought. What else? Why?
But he finds himself
Oh,
unable
that's
to
during the
ask,
Halloween show.
cursing himself as
Yeah,
Nikki
yeah.
walks away from his car and towards her house.
remember you
He
telling me
takes out
that.
his One Wish Willow, a novelty toy that he bought at an occultic store, and that's when he makes his one wish.
I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
And
You
then
know,
he snaps the stick.
The whole thing about this, bro, I just wish that Nikki confessed her love to me. Wait, no, Nikki tells me that she actually has feelings for me. Or I wish Nikki told me how she really feels about me. That's all he needed to wish. He didn't need to wish that to make her obsessed with him and everything else. He could have just made her confess how she feels about him and leave it at that. Like, holy shit.
Well, it's a classic case of be careful what you wish for, because this ritual is devastatingly effective.
Yo, what's up, DJ?
Or is it?
You doing
We'll
better?
get to that. It seems to possess Nikki's body with a spirit or a doppelganger with an insatiable desire
Yo,
to be
seeing
united to Bear.
some parts of
And
this
the torment
movie
that this brings about
in the
actually
theaters is
expresses
actually
something
insane.
of the biblical understanding of judgment. You see it in Romans 1. God's judgment on humanity in our fallenness, in our rejection of him, is to hand us over to our wicked desires. It turns out that getting what we want in our fallen state is hellish. Of course, the Bible doesn't end there. There is a light shining in the midst of that darkness. There is a savior. In the film, what unfolds is incredibly bleak. It's an out-and-out tragedy, but I think it leaves us with a longing for something more.
Okay. One Wish
The
Willow.
occultic store where Bear purchases the One Wish Willow is called the Green Man. In modern
The
New Age
Green
circles,
Man.
the Green Man has become regarded as a pagan fertility symbol. But actually going further back in time, the Green Man has been a prominent symbol in Christian art and architecture. In the medieval collection of tales, The Legend of the Rune.
Y'all think people seen this movie and was like, bro, I might have to try that One Wish Willow? Y'all think they actually went to that store and was like, yo, I got some One Wish Willows I can wish for real quick? Like, I feel like they actually did that.
There is an intriguing story of Seth burying his father,
like people
Adam,
actually did that,
the first
bro.
human being. According to the story, while Adam was dying, Seth placed 3 seeds under his tongue. These sprouted and grew into a tree, nourished by Adam's decaying corpse, and the wood from that tree was used to make the cross on which Jesus, known as the second Adam, was crucified. So the Green Man, however it's appropriated nowadays, is a Christ-haunted symbol. The possibility of curse being lifted, of life coming from death, hangs in the air for much of the movie, and we as an audience, as we continue this blistering descent into darkness, our yearning for resolution alongside the characters grows ever stronger. Anyway, Bear visits this shop, the Green Man store, rather aimlessly. At first he's looking for some crystals which might help to provide good vibes with Nikki. But then he happens to notice something else, a box of One Wish Willows, and he buys one on a whim. There's this writing on the box. The front says, One Wish Willow, amaze your friends, you only get one wish. And the back says, spark the middle and break in half. Usage, open the package to a magical jingle and a fun pop surprise. Hold the One Wish Willow gently, break it in half, and state your wish clearly. Wait up to 24 hours for your wish to come true. Disposal. After granting your wish, the One Wish Willow loses its magical properties. Now that's fascinating. The text implies that you should state your wish before breaking the stick in half. But Bear states his wish and then breaks the stick. It's a subtle detail, and I'm not saying that everything would have panned out okay if Bear had only followed the exact order on the box. but it's notable nonetheless. On the right-hand side of the box, we can just about see that the company is called Tabby Cat Curiosities. That, of course, has personal resonance for Bear because the film begins with his cat Sandy dying after getting into a bottle of oxycodone, a highly addictive painkiller. There's even a website listed above the logo, www.tabbycatcuriosities.com. I tried going to the website, by the way, but it didn't work. And beneath the logo, the box says, "Contact us if you have any problems or questions with your One Wish Willow products. Please contact our customer service number at 1-323-747-7118. We're here to help." Shall we see what happens if we actually call that phone number?
Call the number.
I haven't tried this. It's ringing.
Is that IKEA?
Hey, you've reached the One Wish Willow hotline.
What the?
Unfortunately, we're not liable for any unintended things that might have happened to you or your loved ones. That includes property damages, psychological distress, emotional trauma, extreme personality changes, deeply destructive displays of love, bodily harm, death, or anything resembling possession and stuff like that. It's all there in the fine print, but maybe you didn't read it. Most people don't. If you need further assistance, well, I hope you can find it because there's not much I can really do. Good luck.
Oh my goodness, it works. That is a phenomenal bit of marketing.
That's
I imagine
a fire Easter
it
egg.
just goes through to the answer phone every time you call it, but still.
That's a
On the
fire
subject
Easter
of the
egg,
phone
bro.
number, I might be wrong about this. I need to check when the film comes out on streaming, but when Bear rings the helpline, I'm almost certain that he dials a different number to the one that's on the back of the box. If I remember rightly, he actually dials something like 102345667. I might be wrong about that, but I was watching the cinema screen quite carefully, and that's what my brain took in. If it turns out to be wrong, obviously disregard this section of the video, but if I'm right, that would be another intriguing departure from what's written on the box,
I love when movies do
contributing
like
to this sense
movie
that
Easter
we
eggs.
as an
You can do,
audience
like,
can't be entirely
IRL.
sure of what we're seeing. The box is naive and playful in its packaging. The reality is much worse. On the subject of consecutive numbers, it's notable that when Bear wakes up in the middle of the night and Nikki starts acting really creepily, the time he wakes up is 3:45 a.m. Many have noted that this time might be a reference to the witching hour. Some Christian traditions have regarded 3 a.m. as the devil's hour because it's an inversion of 3 p.m., which is traditionally believed to be the time that Christ died on the cross. So the film might be picking up on some of those things. On this channel, I discuss film from a theological perspective because I genuinely believe that the Bible describes reality and helps to unveil layers of meaning in these movies, whether that's intentional on the part of the filmmakers or not. I often get comments saying things like, "I'm not a Christian, but I watch this channel to hear a Christian perspective on film," and I'm so grateful for that. If you...
Yo, this is the smoothest ad I ever like got roped into. W ad transition. Holy ad transition.
It's not made explicit, but I think there are multiple signs that Nikki is demonically possessed in this movie. Whatever it is, it functions in that manner. Immediately after Bear makes the wish, Nikki starts acting very strangely. Her obsession with Bear quickly becomes otherworldly. She moves in with him, she makes a bizarre indoor memorial for his dead cat, she watches him sleep, she gaffer tapes his front door to make it harder for him to leave.
And that restaurant scene was actually insane.
And when he prizes that door open, she just stands there waiting for him to return. That's so creepy. That building sense of dread as Bear does his day of work, and then how will he find her when he returns home? Will she have changed even more? While he's at work, he opens the packed lunch that Nikki has made for him, and inside are 2 Polaroid photos. The top one is a photo of Bear with a heart and the caption, "You." The second photo depicts both of them lying next to each other, and the caption chillingly says, "Not me." And that's a sign that the real Nikki is trying to signal to Bear. The Nikki who is obsessing over him is not the real Nikki. The real Nikki is trapped somewhere within. The sandwiches in the lunchbox are filled with the meat of Bear's deceased cat.
This is crazy.
Is that the sort of thing that a person who genuinely loves Bear would do? No. It's bizarre. It's disturbing. It's a form of torment. I think throughout this film we are seeing a demon's torment masquerading as being in love with Bear. The demon can keep up the act to some degree, but the mask slips quite catastrophically in a lot of places.
Does your dad really have cancer?
No. 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 No.
What?
No. 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 Don't do that.
Bear is beginning to panic, so he calls the helpline on the back of the box.
Yo, what the fuck?
Like the staff that we encounter
See
at the
that
Green
shit
Man's
again?
store,
That shit was
the
just
person
so
on the
like
other end of the line is worryingly laid
weird.
back. He sounds bored.
What's up? I was
What's up?
calling to see if there's a way I can alter a wish.
Like to cancel your wish?
No. It's okay to keep the. I just want to know if I can like alter it a little.
I'm sorry, we don't really do that.
No.
You don't really do
If you
that.
have any questions about how the wish works, or if you read the back of the box.
Is it even real?
Yeah, it's real.
No, I know that is her love real?
Just because you chose this for her doesn't make it less real.
Oh, that is a chilling line.
That's
isn't it?
crazy.
And Bear will come to see
That's
that it's
crazy.
a lie.
That's crazy to still hear now, bro. Like, Bear, he chose her, like, kind of not force her in a way, but like kind of chose it for her to force on her love for him. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I felt like Nikki has some type of emotion for Bear. She was just, her personality, Nikki's actual personality was just like super kidding and super jokes and want to be a guy's girl. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's like that, but she wasn't trying to let her real life emotions towards Bear be out. You know what I'm saying? Until Bear chose that path for her for wishing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's actually
the
crazy.
obsessive love for him that is being expressed through Nikki's body is not genuine. It's demonic, and therefore it's not love. It's a fleshly, all-consuming addiction. That's what Bear has unleashed. It's also on this phone call that Bear learns how he can break the curse.
So she's just stuck like this forever?
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you live.
As long as I live?
And then something even more disturbing happens. The man on the other end of the line offers Bear an opportunity to speak to Nikki. We hear her anguished screams over the phone line. Is that the real Nikki? The one who has been imprisoned and suppressed by Bear's wish? Perhaps. At Ian's house party, Nikki silences everyone through a dark, incestuous retelling of Hansel and Gretel. So it's really weird. It's about Gretel seducing Hansel, basically. Again, it's so carnal. It's pure, self-centered obsession, not self-giving love. And it ends with Gretel saying, "Hansel is my soul, a love that only the branch of a willow tree could conjure."
A love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure.
And that line is delivered knowingly to Bear. I think the demon knows exactly what's going on. It's tormenting the real Nikki, suppressing her, and it's also tormenting Bear. The party ends with Nikki stabbing herself in the face with a broken bottle. Is that the real Nikki piercing through, desperate for her torment to end? Probably, because later that night, when Bear gets out of bed, Nikki is asleep. And in that state, we seem to get another moment of the real Nikki piercing through. She begs Bear to take her life, to release her from this torment. And this moment reminds me a bit of The Exorcist. When the young possessed girl, Regan, is asleep, the priests find the words, "Help me," engraved onto her belly. That sense of the real Regan who's been suppressed by the demon,
the kid got possessed
through,
and
crying out for help. And a key dimension of
the
film
in the bed on top of
is
the
that
wall
the protagonist, Bear, is actually a really horrible character. He says to the real Nikki something like, "It's not so bad being with me, is it?" And then he leaves the room. Part of him wants to keep this going. He doesn't love the obsessive version of Nikki. He's scared of that, obviously. But equally, he doesn't want to listen to the real Nikki. What he really wants is someone in between, which again would be a figment of his imagination, a fantasy. The car scene is truly shocking. Bear and Sarah share
Oh
a
my
genuine
God.
moment of connection.
Oh my God, the car scene with Bear and Sarah, bro. Holy, yo, I'm not gonna lie. Bear was better off being with Sarah. No bullshit. Like, gang, you didn't have to be, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Cause yo, that scene when not Nikki, cause that's not Nikki, the demon Nikki was, you know what I'm saying? Yo, if you know, you know, bro. I'm not gonna spoil, but holy.
She's this figure who has quietly loved him all this time. And Bear starts to recognize
He was
that
obsessed
and
with Nikki,
possibly
though.
even
He
reciprocate
was,
it.
but like,
But at that moment, the possessed Nikki
no.
arrives to smash Sarah's head with a brick.
he
It's
said that.
deeply traumatic to
Oh,
watch.
I try
But
to
when he
save
gets
y'all.
home, things are truly out of control. The house has been turned into this horrifying shrine.
Yeah.
Sarah's corpse has been placed on a chair, and all her clothes have been removed. Nikki is now wearing them. That sense of trying to steal the love for Sarah that Bear might have had and claim it for herself.
Nah, that
This
shit
brings
is
us to the
crazy.
ending. Bear locks himself in the bathroom. He tries to kill himself with a gun, but finds himself unable to do it. So he then reaches for the oxycodone pills, the ones that killed his cat. Is this a redemptive, heroic final act? Is he choosing to sacrifice his life in order to set
No,
Nikki
because you tried
free?
to throw it up.
Well, it seems to me the way it's framed is that it's actually a total last resort, and it's more about setting himself free. Nikki being set free is a kind of byproduct for him at this point. And one of the reasons I think that is because he does eat the pills, but then he seems to change his mind. He tries to make himself vomit. But before he can, Nikki finds the One Wish Willow and makes a wish, presumably that Bear would be as obsessed with her as she is with him. And he emerges from the bathroom. They kiss, but then she realizes that Bear is dying in her arms from the overdose. The possessed Nikki is devastated. Why? Well, I suppose it's kind of obvious. She's still living under Bear's wish, and therefore she's still infatuated with him, obsessed with him, devastated to see him dying. But if she is in fact demonically possessed, as I've interpreted throughout this video, I don't think the demon is in love with Bear, and that's why it's sad. I think it's sad because it realizes that it can no longer torment Bear now that he's dying. So anyway, Bear dies in Nikki's arms, and the possessed Nikki prepares to take her own life as a result. It's like a perverse retelling of the end of Romeo and Juliet. But at that moment, the curse is lifted. Bear's death
Nikki's just there,
ends the effect
seeing all her friends
wish. And then the real Nikki finally comes to.
That shit was insane.
So there's a hint of deliverance there. Nikki is released from the curse, but it's definitely not a happy ending. She returns to her body and her life, only to find it in total ruins. Sarah, Ian, and Bear are all dead. This friendship group, utterly ruined by this careless
mental health works.
So to return to the title of this video, what is the real horror of obsession? Well, to me it resides in a simple question. Did Bear get his wish? In a sense, yes. His wish was very clear. That Nikki would love him more than anyone else in the whole wide world.
You know?
I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
Bear, I love you so much. I don't think I could live without you.
You love me more than anyone in the world?
Yes, more than anyone.
He gets what he wants, and he doesn't like it. But then you could argue that Bear doesn't actually get his wish. Because if, and I think it's a big if what he truly wants is a mutual, meaningful connection with Nikki, that's not what he gets. The possessed Nikki is a counterfeit, a distortion, robbing her of agency. So the wish comes true from a fleshly perspective. It produces this carnal obsession, the inevitable outworking of a selfish desire that doesn't truly value the other. But the wish doesn't come true from a spiritual perspective. It doesn't satisfy Bear's ultimate thirst for meaning and intimacy, even if he thought and wished that it would. I think this movie has a lot to say about how devastating our modern inability to define love can be. We often deify that notion of finding the ideal romantic partner, the one, where we believe that other people can satisfy our ultimate longings. That has two problems. The first is that we can end up loving someone selfishly and instrumentally. You know, not for their sake, but for what we can get out of them. That's one problem. The second problem is that it places a burden on relationships that they were never designed to carry. If I make another human being into my God, they will disappoint me, and it's very unfair on them. According to Christianity, we can only know what love actually is when we look at God. He's this eternal, loving union of Father, Son, and Spirit. And his love is most clearly revealed when it is poured out in self-sacrifice for us on the cross. True love is self-sacrificial, not self-serving. And that should then flow into our relationships with others. Christians call one another brothers and sisters in Christ. He is the basis for our love, and we are called to invite others into that love. And many Christians get married. But again, that's founded on self-sacrifice rather than selfishness, because in Christianity, marriage is this metaphor for the cosmic union between Christ and his bride, the church. I don't know what you make of all that, but I'm sure we can all agree that obsession is an absolutely devastating portrayal of a relationship. And I wish I could say to both Nikki and Bear that they are made for so much more than this, that there is a much greater love. And if Bear knew that love, he would not have wished for Nikki to be compelled into loving him, because loving her would actually look like honouring her and laying down his life for her. This film really rattled me. I watched it with my friends Ethan and Sonny at the cinema, and we discussed the film at length.
Yeah, I'm about to start saying the cinema. I don't want to say movies no more. Like, movies just sound like cinema just sounds calm. I'm about to start cinema, bro. I'm about to start saying cinema. Man, that's my vocabulary.
Afterwards,
you want to go to the cinema?
A lot of those thoughts actually made it into this video. So thanks so much, guys. Shout out to you. And here's the Letterboxd review I wrote of the movie that night. 5 stars, one of the most terrifying films I've ever seen. I want to recommend it and I don't at the same time. It's a phenomenal feat of horror filmmaking, but be warned, it's genuinely disturbing, and I don't say that lightly. I think I stand by that. Well, my name is Thomas. I get into the deeper meaning of movies. Thanks so much for watching, and remember...
Yo, shout out to Thomas, bro. Absolutely fire, phenomenal video. There we go. We're gonna check out more of his stuff for sure. This is 7K. Alright, let me video.